Yo, what up, guys? Sorry for the late start. Sorry for the late start. What's going on, everyone? There we go. I promise I wasn't doing nothing. Oh, wait, this isn't plugged in. Let me plug this in. There we go. All right. There we go. I was working on this for a little bit this morning. Something new that I want to try with you guys. It's going to be like a biography. I'm going to read through the biography, but it's improved. So I've been wanting to do like lore audio dramas for all the stories within Runeterra, covering like the biographies, the short stories, that kind of thing. But I want it to be better, right? Not just me reading off the page. So that was my first take at it. So do we want to start with Runeterra regions ranked by lore, or should we start with the biography? The biography is definitely shorter. I mean, we're going to do both, so why don't we just start with the Runeterra regions ranked by lore? Okay. You know, I kind of want to actually start with the Essential of Demacia just because I feel like it's more chill. And then usually people come in like around 7:38, so I don't want them to come in between this, during that, right? During the Runeterra's regions ranked. So we'll actually start with the Xin Zhao Essential of Demacia biography. Regions ranked by lore. Oh, well, Como called it then. We're doing regions ranked by lore. All right. So I get a lot of questions about people asking me what region has the best lore and what region has the worst lore. In terms of my personal take, based on the map of Demacia, looking at the regions that are there, we got all of these regions available. We've also got Vandal City. Wait, where's the wrong one? We've got all of these regions available. We've also got Vandal City. But if I had to rank them based on their lore alone, this isn't based on what I think my favorite is. It's not based on the lore that I think is the best, but actually the overall lore for that region, what makes it the best and why it's the best or why it's the worst. And I think my list might surprise a couple of people, especially those who are fans of certain forms of media. Let me pull up a champion here. Rise is a good one for like the world. Where's he at? There he is. Rise. All right. Runeterra's regions realms ranked, a lore deep dive from gilded cities to frozen wastes. What do we think is the best? A world of stories. Runeterra is a world defined by the stories, from the sun-scorched deserts of Shurima to the frozen wastes of the Freljord. Every region is a tapestry woven with threads of myth, conflict, magic, and history. But not all stories are created equal. Some are simple tales of progress and order, while others are sprawling epics of cosmic war and existential horror. Today we embark on a journey to rank these realms not by their safety or their splendor, but by the depth of complexity and sheer narrative richness of their lore. Which regions offer the most compelling characters, the most intricate conflicts, and the most profound themes? Join us as we explore the very soul of Runeterra, ranking its lands from the simplest tales to the grandest legends. This is the book, Realms of Runeterra. If you're a fan of Runeterra lore, and you have not read Realms of Runeterra, I really, really highly recommend it. It's this map. If you were to take this map and turn it into a book and add a ton of awesome art to it, and like there's a bunch of random stories associated with the characters and stuff like that. If you're a fan of Runeterra lore, you will like Realms of Runeterra. Not sponsored. I just really like the book. Number 12, the region with the worst lore. The region at the bottom of the list, the low, not even cream of the crop, whatever the opposite of the cream of the crop is Piltover, the Gilded Cage. Piltover's lore is a tale of progress, but it's a story told from the top of a floor skyscraper. It's clean, well lit, and fundamentally one-dimensional. The city of progress is defined by its pursuit of hextech innovation, commerce, and order. While this creates stable society, it results in a narrative landscape that feels somewhat sterile. The primary conflicts are intellectual property disputes between merchant clans and the occasional lab accident. The real story isn't Piltover itself, but the chasm it was built upon, Zon. Piltover's lore is fundamentally incomplete without the Undercity. Imagine Piltover as a standalone. If you just had Piltover, take away Zon, take it away completely. Just the city of Piltover, all of its characters, like everything that is Piltover, but by itself, without Zon. I don't even know if I'd count Azrael as a champion of Piltover. The guy's all over the map. There's not even a huge champion list because there's really not much story there. It's just like a really nice city, pursuit of progress. The most interesting thing is Zendelo's Incognium Runeterra, and we don't even know what it does. There's speculation that it helps you locate things, or like I think it helps you, it's like a map of Runeterra, but something like that. But it's all speculative. In terms of Piltover, the biggest things are Hextech and Zon. And Hextech is just like magic weaponry, which is, I'm not going to say Hextech isn't cool. Hextech is definitely cool, but it's not enough to make a zone like this grand piece of lore. I know that they turned it into Arcane, which I'm freaking impressed by. I really am. I can't believe that they took the zone with the worst lore in all of Runeterra and centered a story around it for a TV show. If I was in that room, I would have been like, this is risky. But, you know, the good thing about Piltover is it's really grounded in character stories. And, like, it's very on the ground in terms of, like, what people would see. Like, it wouldn't start very fantastical. And so I think that's why they chose it. But I think they didn't choose Piltover. They chose Zon. And Piltover just happened to be associated with it. The primary conflicts, the real story is in Piltover, it's Zon. Piltover's lore is fundamentally incomplete without its Undercity counterpart, making it feel less like a full-fledged region and more like the prologue to a much darker, more interesting tale. Thriving, progressive city whose power and influence is on the rise. Its power comes not through military might, but the engines of commerce and forward thinking. This focus on innovation is centered around the prestigious University of Piltover and the city's many forges. But it's a progress built on a dark secret. The gleaming city literally stands on top of its problems, having physically and socially separated itself from the polluted, chaotic Undercity of Zon, after a catastrophic event caused by Piltover's own unchecked ambition. And so here's Piltover at the top, and even like if we just take this image at face value, how much of it is Piltover? Like this little section right here, how much of it is Zon? A lot more. Okay, that just goes to show you where the narrative value lies in Piltover and Zon. And that's why Piltover is ranked number 12. The true cost of Piltover's clean streets and orderly society is the suffering and danger pushed down into the chasms below. This duality, famously explored in the series Arcane, is Piltover's most compelling narrative hook, but it also highlights that the city's own story is shallow, without depth, and provided by its dark reflection. I will say Piltover is much better post-Arcane. Like Jace is a great character at this point. Victor's, I wouldn't say he's Piltover, he's more Zon associated. But Heimerdinger, Vi, Caitlyn, I don't think they didn't really show Camille or Oriana, but Piltover is in a better place now post-Arcane, but it's still, even if I include Arcane, it's still, I would rank it number 12 in lore and story. Number 11, Camivore and the Independent Lands, the scars of the Ruination. A lot of people don't even know this place exists. If we were to go to the map of Runeterra, you're not going to find it here. You can try to search for Camivore and Independent Lands, you're not going to see it. It's actually all the way over here on the right side, like far off to the right. We can't see it. And that's how you can see it on this picture, right? You have like Valoran, Shurima, Acathia, that's Ishtal. You can see the Buhru right there, the Serpentiles, because the Buhru people call it the Serpentiles, but that's Bilgewater. You don't see the Shadow Isles here because the Shadow Isles at that time of this map's creation were covered by the Blessed Mist, and so you couldn't find them. That's why literally all these trade routes between Camavor and the Independent Lands and Ishtal, well, Shurima, because it was all Shurima at that time, to go around this central area because they can't get through the mist. The aura of Jace, Heimer, and the scientists was insane. I was like, how inventors are a council and have political influence in Piltover. Yeah, absolutely. They've definitely improved Piltover post-Arcane. The council is very cool. The political like value of like the scientists and whatnot in Piltover is awesome. I like, my favorite scene in Arcane is where Jace stands up to Ambessa, where Ambessa is basically telling him, you need Noxus, you need our help. And Jace tells him, like, what does he quote? The failure rate of the students in Piltover in the academy, and saying that they're no innocence when it comes to failure. It really showed me like how like Jace kind of standing up to Ambessa showed me like Piltover can hold its own in a way versus these other places. But Piltover has base lore, but Zan is what gives it life. It relies on. Exactly. That's really how I feel. Piltover is not, if you take away Zan, Piltover is, I mean, very, very shallow and surface level. Let me higher this a little bit. A bit too quiet in the background. But next at number 11 is Camavor and the Independent Lands, the Scars of the Ruination. So now you know where it is. The story of Camavor is a ghost story. It is a tale of a fallen kingdom, a tragic king, and the cataclysmic event that birthed the Shadow Isles. As explored in the novel Ruination, Camavor was a brutal expansionist empire, whose internal strife and obsessive love led to a magical apocalypse. Its lore is potent, but focused on serving primarily as the origin story for the Black Mist and its champions like Viego and Callista. While the independent lands surround it offer potential for stories for survival and rebuilding in a post-apocalyptic world, the region as a whole feels more like a historical backdrop than a living, breathing part of Runeterra's present. It's a story that largely has been told, and what remains are echoes and ruins. That's the case. I mean, we've even seen, you guys remember that there's a cinematic for Sentinels of Light. Sentinels of Light final cinematic. Let me see. I think it was Absolution. Yeah. In Absolution, you can literally, this is the only shot we ever have of the Camavor. So they pull Viego into Camavor here. Oh, you guys can't hear. One sec. Okay. So this is the Sentinels of Light. And Viego literally opens a portal to Camavor. And this is the only shot we have of Camavor. That's Camavor. And so we know that as of the current lore, the place is under ruins. I mean, he's just walking into his throne room. Even in Ruination, it describes Viego leaving it in disarray. In the new dragon character's lore, he talks about he used to be like the dragons of Camavor and the independent lands, and that place fell apart. So the history of Camavor, there's not much there anymore. It's ruins and destruction. I think we'll end up there at some point.
Show them no pity.
Pantheon possessed again. Yeah. And if the Sentinels of Light event holds true, which I don't think it will, I think eventually it will be retconned, especially before the Riot MMO. Viego is literally trapped in Camavor and no longer on the Shadow Isles. That's where Viego would be. But I don't think, hello again, the Sentinels, yeah. Let's just say this isn't true. But what I think will hold true is that Camavor is a land in disarray. And note the emblem at the top. That's the same emblem that's on Vladimir that he wears around. So, something cool. That's the emblem of Camavor right up there. That's the same emblem Vladimir wears. But yeah, the main thing I wanted to show was that it's destroyed. This is the Ruination novel, the Ruination book trailer. If you guys have never seen it, I mean, this is just, It's just awesome. Really it is. It's just cool. It's not long.
Camivore, an empire of conquest.
It was great.
Kings who rule absolute. Callista, spear of the Argent Throne, forswore the life of a princess and vowed to guard her uncle, King Viego, from any who would do him harm. She thought she succeeded. She could not protect his heart, his world.
That's Isolde, obviously. And this is the Blessed Isles.
Now
they discover
she
it.
Searches for a cure in places of myth and legend. She is not prepared for the darkness.
There's the Thresher.
Mind.
Man, the Ruination book is so good. I mean, again, another book that if you have not read, I would really highly recommend that you read it because it's great. It's absolutely amazing. And if you're a fan of Runeterra lore, you'll want to read it multiple times. But yeah, there's a closer shot of Camivore. You can see some of the signer places. We're definitely going to go there in the Riot MMO. It's just a matter of when. But currently, it's just a narrative backdrop. There's no story there. And yeah, I still put it above Piltover because at least it has a little bit of mystery and could be interesting. The narrative of Rune King Viego is a powerful tragedy, but it's a story that has reached its conclusion. Camivore's legacy is now intrinsically tied to the Shadow Isles. And while its history is vital, it lacked the ongoing conflicts and evolving narratives that define Runeterra's more compelling regions. Because it's just the end. I mean, Camivore right now is in disarray. That's interesting. Is Vladimir from Camivore? Yeah, Vladimir is Viego's uncle. Well, distant uncle. We don't know like the relation, how distant he is, but they're definitely family. Man, I hope whatever medium they introduce Gwen in live action animated MMO, they do her justice. My main since she released over 100 games played of her. Gwen is an awesome character. The doll that somehow became like this because she had a piece of a soul and becomes like a person. Yeah, Gwen has an awesome story. And then what she does with that life is cool. She's literally just this random doll battling the Black Mist. Do you think it's a good idea to read if I already played Rune King? Absolutely. Absolutely. I would actually read it before Rune King. But yeah, if you already played Rune King, then it just adds more backstory. That book is 100% canon, never going to go away. I think it's perfect, and I would never change a thing. The only thing that I will say about Viego's story that I would change is that towards the end, it talks about Viego becoming like oppressive, even in Rune. It's mostly in Rune King too, but even in the Rune King game. But even in the book Ruination, it does touch on it. Is that Viego with Isolde became like she was just a prize and like didn't really treat her well, and he was kind of just a spoiled brat. And that when he lost Isolde, it was almost like him losing like his plaything in a way, something that he just valued. And I don't really like that piece. I like Viego being like a guy that just loved Isolde and was willing to burn down the world to bring her back. And that's the story that I like, because then it makes Viego a relatable character. Someone that's like, yeah, you know, there's that guy that would burn the world down for her. But then it becomes, if he's just a spoiled brat, and even Isolde's like, what the heck's wrong with you? Like, you corrupted our love and stuff. Like, even Isolde is telling him you're a piece of shit. I don't know. I don't really like that. Yeah, I don't want to say piece of shit, but like, you know, even Isolde's telling him you're in the wrong. So I don't really like that stuff. I wish that it would just go back to Viego really loved Isolde and was willing to destroy the world for her. I think that's a good story. Otherwise, he just becomes a villain. I like when he's gray. Next up, Ixtal, the Hidden Jungle. Ixtal's lore is built on a foundation of isolation and mystery, which is both its strength and its weakness. As a secluded nation of powerful elemental mages who survive the void and the dark and by cutting themselves off from the world, Ixtal possesses a rich internal history. The rigid caste system of the Yuntao, the mastery over the elements, and the constant defense against intruders create a fascinating self-contained narrative. However, the very isolation limits its interaction with the broader world, making its stories feel somewhat disconnected from the grander conflicts of Runeterra. While champions like Kiana, Zira, and Skarner offer glimpses into its culture and dangers, Ishtal's narrative potential remains largely untapped and separate from the main stage. The arcologies are connected by intersecting lines of power, and each represents a specific form of discipline of elemental magic. The largest are home to tens of thousands of Istali practitioners, with a social hierarchy based on the length of time spent in study, furthering their progression towards ultimate mastery. I think the arcologies are really cool and probably the most interesting thing about Ishtal. The nation's aggressive defense against outsiders, using its magic to make its jungle itself a weapon, makes for a compelling threat. Still, its lore feels like a prelude, a story waiting to be connected to a larger world. Until Ishtal is forced to confront the upstarts and pretenders it despises, its narrative remains a beautifully illustrated but closed book. It's just kind of frozen. Really, I mean, Ishtal has no story with anyone. It's just an isolated world where, yeah, the jungle will eat you alive if you go too close. They have great history. They have ties to like the Ishtali mages helping the Shuri'mans build the Sun Disk. Skarner has great lore now. What an improvement. I think he's going to be a raid boss because after all, Skarner was updated post Riot announcement. Skarner will absolutely, I have no doubt in my mind we're going to end up having to deal with him and him trying to like, he literally says he'll destroy Ishtal before he lets it, you know, reacquaint itself with the world, because Skarner just sees the ruination and the rune wars and sees the rest of the world as like this corrupt place that Ishtali people need to be isolated from. So Skarner's lore, amazing. Zira's lore, I think we're gonna have to deal with her. She's great. There's a lot of great lore in Ishtal. It's just so isolated and the story is so like just trapped. Even the arcologies are great, the axiomata, but it's just frozen. It's just standing there waiting to be explored and waiting to be it's like they wrote the first book and then stopped, and the story just halts there. Like the lights are out and everything's just waiting. Yeah, he actually loved her so much he neglected his kingdom. Yeah, see, I like that those parts where he loved her enough that he didn't care about the world anymore. But when you start making it like he was a spoiled brat, Viego, when you start making it like he was a spoiled brat and he just like, even Isolde felt like he was just she was just a prize that he had under his arm, then it becomes a bit more like Viego's just this evil character who was spoiled his whole life, which shouldn't be the case. It should be that he loved Isolde loved him, and she may not agree with what he was doing, but he was willing to destroy the world to bring her back. They're just kind of there. Yeah, Ishtal is just there. There's nothing, it doesn't tie into anything. The lore is what it is, and it's an isolated place with nothing going on. And even if there was something going on, we wouldn't know about it because it's completely like cut off from the world. They have a small one with the Piltovers encroaching on the northern forest. Yeah, then there's a short story there. I can show you guys that one. But at the same, even that, like, they don't really get far. I mean, where's that short story? I think is it Kiana's? Yeah, Fit to Rule. You could see Piltover's trying to harvest the forests of Ishtal, which is it's cool, you know, but at the same time it just doesn't get anywhere. Like their machines just get destroyed, trapped, and they use Kiana uses the axiomata to destroy it. So nothing really there. Like it just ends. Like it doesn't even get into the forests of Kumonga very far. It probably just gets to here. I don't even know, maybe here. Next up, this guy's might be a surprise, but Demacia, the Kingdom of Crumbling Ideals. I'll put it at number 9. There's just so many good stories out there. Now we're getting into, after Ishtal, we're getting into stories that, you know, hey, this is like the next tier. I'd say these are, we've been through like the lower tier places, and now we're approaching like the next tier up. And so Demacia at number 9, I would group it with a couple of the ones above it, but I would put it as below them. Ishtal is more a setup of something bigger than anything. Yeah, it's perfectly set up to explode with lore, and I think it could end up being one of the best lore stories and places that we explore in the Naruto by far. But it's just halted. Is Nadali from Ishtal or Ionia? So I know she has Vestaya ties, but she is an Ishtal champion. All Vestaya... I know she has, she's so distant. She's so far down. Like, all Vestaya come from the Vestaya Shire, which are from Ionia. Even Nico descends from a Vestaya Shire, which come from Ionia. But Nadalia's blood is so, like, diluted that it's like, are you still Ionian anymore? You know what I mean? Like, there comes a point where you're no longer, when you've been out, like, she's generations in, probably. She still lives a longer life than a mortal, but her blood has been so diluted from the Vestaya Shire that she doesn't live as long as, like, a character like Nico. So she's a couple generations in. I wouldn't even say she's Ionian anymore. She's Ishtali. But yeah, all Vestaya Shire have descended. They all descend from Ionia because that's where the war happened, the Great Titan War, which is where the Vestaya Shire took the power of the Spirit Realm into themselves to become Vestaya Shire to defeat the Titans. Then they mated with mortals, and that's where Vestaya come from. They're like a lesser Vestaya Shire, which is why they don't live as long. Next up, Demacia. Oh, I didn't show you guys. I was supposed to be showing you guys like the display. I pulled up Nadali. But yeah, news and lore. Demacia, the kingdom of crumbling ideals. Demacia's lore is a compelling tragedy of a kingdom devouring itself from within. Founded on principles of justice, honor, and duty, its deep-seated fear of magic has twisted these virtues into instruments of oppression. The conflict between the anti-magic mage seekers and the burgeoning mage rebellion led by Silas creates a powerful internal schism that touches every aspect of Demacian society. Characters like Garen, Lux, Jarvan IV are caught in a struggle between loyalty to their kingdom and their own moral compasses. The political turmoil following the king's death adds another layer of instability. Demacia's story is a rich exploration of hypocrisy, tradition versus progress, and the destructive nature of fear, making it a far more complex and interesting realm than its shining white walls would suggest. The kingdom, very foundation on Petrocite and anti-magic stone, is a physical manifestation of its ideology. This has led to a society that is safe and orderly for the non-magical, but a brutal prison for those born with abilities. This inherent contradiction is the engine of its narrative, making Demacia a powerful setting for stories of rebellion and moral conflict. So it's a good story, but it does center around the Mage Seekers. I think it's the other stories that make Demacia at number 9. Really, it's not the story of like the Mage Seekers and them being corrupted by the Black Rose. I like it, but it's like the smaller stories that really stand out to me in Demacia. Foss Barrow with Nocturne and even Fiddlesticks ties into that story. The Green Fang Mountains and the Arcane Fist stand out to me. The Witch turning, I think it's somewhere over here. I don't think it's Evanmore. But there's a witch turning people into harpies somewhere over here. Garen has a story where he meets this old hag that's sucking the memories out of people. Like, it almost seems like Demacia is so anti-mage, it attracts really cool mages, like who do really cool things, evil things in Demacia. So it's the smaller stories that stand out in Demacia and not the really major overarching story, which is the Mage Seekers and them hating mages. Which is why I'd put it at number 9. Because it's still a good story. I still think the Silas Mage Seeker story is good. But the overall story of Demacia, it's the smaller stories that make a difference. In my opinion, Demacia looks best aesthetically. Demacia is freaking beautiful. I always said that if I was going to live in a city, especially if I wasn't a mage, it would be Demacia. I love that cinematic. I always watch it. First to Fall. Demacia. Yeah. Oh, wait, no, not that one. How does that rank above this? Oh, because he put First to Fall in the title. Yeah. Look how pretty Demacia is. Can we just admire it for a second? Demacia is beautiful. Oh, this is a pretty place. It really is. Damn. This is the most high fidelity shot we have of Runeterra. And they chose to make it of Demacia. You can see the wings of the wing protector. around the king. And the music stops. This is for the Ruination event. This is when this is leading up. This is like part of the Sentinels of Light story. Man. Ooh. I don't know who does the music at Riot, but jeez. They were on something with this one. For as awesome as the cinematic is, it's underrated. First to fall. Diego's laugh at the end. Yeah, how many views does this video have? 2.6 million. It's not enough. It's underrated. It's one of the most underrated videos on YouTube. So good. Like, that's the highest fidelity shot we have of Runeterra, and it's beautiful. Yeah, Demacia, a beautiful place. The Demacian art on the interactive map is breathtaking. Yeah, a lot. Well, some of those images do come from that cinematic. Like this, that's just the image from the cinematic. Same with this. This is from the cinematic. Yeah, these are all from the cinematic. So, yeah, from the cinematic again. I like the Demacian raptors, although I don't want any flying mounts. Yep, Demacia. Great, but it's its smaller stories that stand out more than its overarching story. Wow, I've never seen that cinematic before. Oof, wow. Well, don't get too addicted, okay? And don't watch it. Don't waste too much time watching it over and over and over again. Glad I pulled it up, Como. Next up, Noxus, the brutal meritocracy. Noxus thrives on conflict, and its lore is a testament to the fact to that fact. It is an empire defined by its core philosophy, strength above all. This brutal meritocracy, where anyone can rise to power regardless of their origin, creates a society of constant political maneuvering, backstabbing, and open warfare. The empire is led by the Triforix, Swain, Darius, and a faceless representative of Guile, a fascinating power structure designed to prevent the tyranny of a single ruler. Beneath this, the ancient conspiracies of the Black Rose led by LeBlanc pull strings from the shadows. Noxus' expansionist nature means its story is always intertwined with other regions, creating endless possibilities for conflict and character development. It is the land of villains, anti-heroes, and ruthless ambitions, making it one of Runeterra's most dynamic and story-rich nations. No one has more ties to other regions than Noxus. Noxus has ties to Ionia, obviously the Nox-Ionian War. They have ties to Piltover. We've seen that in Arcane with Mbessa and Mel. They have ties to Shurima all the way to the Tomb of the Emperors, like deep in Shurima. They have ties with Ishtal, sending people to literally die there through the Serpentine Delta. That's where they send like freaking people who just are too much of an ego for Noxus. They just say, hey, go conquer Ishtal. That's what we want. They have ties to the Freljord. We've seen Darius marching up to the Freljord, both before in stories, cinematics, and now the most recent cinematic where we see Darius fighting, or Garen fighting Trundle. Oh yeah, what am I saying, Garen? Darius fighting Trundle. So we've already seen, and obviously Noxus has ties to Demacia. They don't have, and they're one of the older nations in Runeterra. I mean, think about it. All the people at the end of the day come from Ionia. It's called the Great Westward Diaspora. That all these people leave from Ionia. I think the Freljord had its own people as well, because the Freljord and Ionia seem like the oldest places in terms of story. But look where Noxus is located. It's probably one of the first places occupied by these people heading. It's called the Great Westward Diaspora. Yeah, it is west. Yeah, so Noxus is probably one of the first places that they explored. So there's a ton of history there. I like to imagine scenarios where different orders clash. Like maybe the Sentinels of Light swap their focus to address the Mage Seeker's problems now that Viego is sealed. Yeah, I just hope... if you want to carry the story forward, that would probably be a good way to do it. I just hope the whole Sentinels of Light event gets completely capped and thrown in the garbage. Just like, I know they put a ton of work into it. But I think that, man, it just does too much. It does too much damage to certain characters. I don't like what it did with Pantheon. I don't like what it did with Yorick. It just kind of like, it did damage to a couple of characters and it moved Viego all the way off the map into Camivore. So now he's trapped there, so we won't see him until we get to Camivore. And I think Viego should be on the Shadow Isles. And eventually we get to Camivore. I don't know what that says. If anyone speaks Spanish, let me know. Translate it for me. But I have no idea. I do not speak Espanol. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No hable Espanol. No, so Noxus, the good thing about Noxus is it ties into all these other regions. It's a story, I think, that's very compelling with the climb to power. I really like this cinematic. I feel like this cinematic really shows Noxus for what it is, and not just this brutal expansionist empire. This is Urtus, a place on the side of Noxus, the Noxian frontier. I'm not going to show the whole thing. The main thing is they breached the gate. This is like a slave girl.
We have the city. Surrender your crown.
Yeah, they don't do crowns in Noxus. There are no kings.
End this bloodshed.
There are no kings in Noxus.
Crown is mine by birth.
Like, when you really look at it, I really like Noxus, like as a place.
Granted to me by my royal blood.
Yeah, we don't do that.
As are these lands and my subjects.
It's a symbol. That's why they get rid of it.
You no longer have subjects. Today, they become citizens of Noxus. Rejoice at the end of kings. Noxus offers freedom and fortune for any strong enough to take it.
Yeah, there are no slaves in Noxus. It's just such a good cinematic for the story of Noxus.
My crown. Returned to me by a slave. Unworthy even to touch it or stand in my presence. Don't you see, Noxian? The gods return the crown to me. End this bloodshed? No. The kingdom is mine. Or it is a graveyard. Show them, girl. Die for your king. Go!
No.
Insolent villain!
The freaking axe went through. I mean, it's one thing to throw a sword. The little axe went through him and through the chair.
Kings demand you kneel before their heirlooms and unearned titles.
Right here.
Noxus wants you to stand, so you can be reforged in a glory shared by all.
Yeah. Guys, Noxus is good. It always seems like so brutal. But is it though? And there she is. Now a member of Noxus. Man, like, I just feel like really Noxus has good values. I know it doesn't look like it. It seems like very violent and oppressive and whatnot, but Noxus, the values of Noxus, what the ideals that they stand for are pretty good. That was a trailer for Legends of Runeterra. Yeah, I pull it all in, okay? I pull in League of Legends, Legends of Runeterra, Teamfight Tactics, Wild Rift. It's all Runeterra. They say, do you think we'll have different languages in MMORPG like in Avatar, or is it too much to dream? Oh no, we'll have, there'll definitely be different servers for different languages. There'll be like a Spanish server and stuff like that, an EU server. I know that in World of Warcraft, there's servers where everyone speaks Spanish, and there's servers where everyone speaks Chinese. But like there'll be an American server for the Americans, and like the English speakers probably be like US, UK, Canada kind of thing. I don't know. But Australia. We can't forget the Australians, the Aussies. They also speak English. Well, kind of is brutal, bro. Literally says kill them until they are family. Yeah, I get it. I'm with you. I understand. But it's just their values aren't bad. Like after, sure, the way that they take you over is by force. Like you don't have a choice. We're gonna take you no matter what, and you're gonna be a part of Noxus. But when they come in, I get in Ionia, like they really destroyed the land. I'm not gonna say that they didn't. They destroyed the land, destroyed the culture. Because once you're Noxian, there's no, I'm still Ionian, but I'm in Noxus. Your culture gets destroyed and wiped out. And for Ionia, that's bad because they have a rich cultural history, and they're completely different than anywhere else in the world. They're a massive archipelago, isolated, and so they're just like a pocket bubble in a world all their own. And the magic of Ionia and whatnot, and disrupting the land really affects the people. But like, for that particular scenario that we just saw, no, Noxus is good. Like, if you're in a bad place, like, I mean, most places in the world today, Noxus would be pretty good. In the world that we have, Noxus would be good. Because, today we have, I know we don't have kings and monarchs, but we kind of do have kings and monarchs. They're just called the government. And Noxus really wouldn't stand for that. It'd be like, everyone shares, everyone's equality. They're freaking socialists. That's who Noxus is. I mean, not saying socialism is good, and I don't want to get into politics. But they're like, everyone deserves a life, and everyone should have the opportunity to earn it. But like today, the world has become so like businessed, like you're never going to be able to beat an Amazon, a Google, a Microsoft, an Apple. Like the most you can hope for is building out a company that one of these larger companies buy out. That's how the world has become. Like Noxus wouldn't stand for that. Like the wealth of Noxus and the prosperity of Noxus needs to be shared by everyone who has the strength to like aid Noxus. Everyone who's willing to put in like the effort to aid Noxus and support the kingdom of Noxus deserves a share of the Noxian wealth. Ambessa, yeah, but Ambessa's one character. But the things I can buy. Wait, I missed a lot. Holy effing, man, I missed a lot. What the heck? Oh, I gotta go back. It's it's kind of brutal, bro. Literally says kill them until they're. I get it. I'm with you. Okay. Legend of Runeterra had these. Legend of Runeterra has some great cinematics. I've been missing out. Sorry, I'm feeding my daughter, so upside I can relate to that. My daughter just tried watermelon yesterday. She really loved it. So spelling and reaction time are way below the usual. Yeah, you're good. You're good. She just tried, yo, thanks for the sub. Oh, I missed those. Yo, thanks for the sub, Diego. But yeah, she just tried watermelon and she loved it. There are definitely positive parts to Noxus. Yeah, there are. I think there's negatives too. Everywhere has positive and negative. Even Demacia like has positives and negatives. And Demacia is like the other side of the coin of Noxus. So, they're both two extremes, right? Noxus is too much one way and Demacia is too much the other way, but a nice middle ground would be nice. But there's good values in Noxus. I can vibe with that, yeah. That's the thing right there. There are no kingdoms in Ionia. Yeah, they're not against kings or kingdoms. That's just part of what they're against. Noxus wants the whole world under Noxus, like Noxian rule. Noxus believes like their way is the right way and that they have the right to conquer everywhere. They're just a brutal expansionist empire. Just like their goal is to expand the ideals of Noxus and take over everywhere, from the Freljord down to Shurima and Ishtar. But the no kings and kingdoms is a pretty good take. Nah, I hate everything Ambessa stands for. Yeah, but Ambessa's one character. Cruel, manipulative, and no empathy for those outside her bloodline. Yeah, Ambessa, that's part of the reason why I think that the Medarda line ended, is because they were one of those families that really ruled Noxus. Like if you ever read the book Ambessa, the Medarda family was very powerful, and all those families were wiped out when Swain took over Noxus. And we know that at the beginning it's Boram Darkwill in power when Ambessa starts her story in the book Ambessa. And so I think the Medarda family is one of the families that was kind of kicked down a couple notches for sure and killed a couple of people, especially the leaders of the house, when Swain took over, because they don't like that stuff. You're not supposed to be for your house or for your bloodline. You're supposed to be for Noxus. And that's what I was talking about. There was a story of a character. Who is she? Here. It's, Who Needs a Map? No, not that one. Conquerors for the Glories of Noxus. Yeah. What's her name? Jungle Shurima. It's like... Having petitioned Noxus High Command of Fear, sometimes Fleet Officer Tamari. She was all about, like, she accomplished this, she accomplished that, like, she's this great hero of Noxus, and that she deserves a lot of glory. Noxus doesn't like that. You're not supposed to be about, like, the glory of your family name, or the glory of you as an individual. The things that you do are for the glory of Noxus, and that's what you're doing. That's why you're doing it, and that should be why you're doing it. And that's why she never gets promoted. Eventually, they send her, they're like, you know, oh, you're so great, Miss Tamari. Why don't you go conquer the lands of Ishtal and prove to us how great you really are? And she comes all the way down here to the Serpentine Delta and ends up dead and floats up on shore somewhere over here. I think in Tranit, she ends up like just a floating body of vines because the jungle just eats her alive. And you could see her in the frontier. That's her in the jungles of Ishtal. Their boat literally capsized and just taken over by the jungle. And very little is known of Ishtal's history, but those outside its borders, indeed, over the years, countless expeditions from Noxus Bilgewater and more recently the Piltover Explorers Guild have delved into the jungle in search of arcs or new territorial claims, only to vanish without a trace. Everyone here ends up dead. Strength above all else, yes. The expansionism is certainly one of the bad parts, yes. It's not all good. It's not all good, but there are certain things that are good about Noxus. But yes, I agree. It's there is some bad, okay? Oh, I wasn't showing you guys the right thing. Sorry about that. I meant to show you the display and I was showing you the picture. So I missed that, but this is what I was showing you. Conquers for the Glory of Noxus. This shows the Tamari. Miss Tamari positioned for 7 times, and then this is the image that I was trying to show you guys. Oh my god, I'm not showing it again. Jeez. So this is the image. Conquers for Glory. This is Miss Tamari. She petitioned 7 times, right, to become, and she believes that she is the leader of, like, she should have like glory for Noxus or whatever, and like the glory that she earned is her own. And Noxus doesn't like that stuff, so they send her down to Ishtal, and they're like, conquer this place for yourself, for Noxus, you know, show us how great you are. And she ends up dead, floats up on I think the shores of Tranit in just a pile of vines, literally a corpse. And the image of her is right here. This is her unexplored frontier exploring Noxus. So yeah, she didn't make it. Now, next up, here, from gladiatorial arena pits to reckoneers of elite Trifarian Legion, every aspect of Noxian society is geared towards testing and proving strength. This creates a high-stakes environment where alliances are temporary and betrayal is a tool of advancement, offering a rich well of narrative potential. Zon, the price of progress. Zon is where the true story of Piltover is told. It is a city of mad science, unchecked industry, and desperate survival, all set against the backdrop of toxic smog and oppressive inequality. The lore of Zon is rich with compelling character drama, from the tragic transformation of Victor and the rise of the Machine Herald to the deeply personal and chaotic journey of Jinx and Vi. The city is ruled by ruthless chem barons, and its streets are home to augmented thugs, monstrous experiments, and revolutionaries. Zon's narrative is a powerful exploration of class struggle, the human cost of progress, and the question of what it means to be human in a world of steel and chemicals. It is far more vibrant and chaotic and emotionally resonant story than the clean streets of the city above. The Zon Grey is more than just pollution. It is a constant oppressive presence that shapes the lives and bodies of its inhabitants. This environmental pressure cooker has forged some of Runeterra's most iconic and tragic characters, making Zon a hotbed of compelling character-driven stories. I want to look at this, guys. This just proves to you that Zon is a better story. Let's go to Piltover. How many characters are there for Piltover? Would you even count all of them as characters of Piltover? I wouldn't really count Ezreal. He's like a Runeterra character, right? He goes all over the place. You got Jace, Heimerdinger, Vi, Seraphine, that's the iffy one, Orianna, Camille, and Caitlyn. And that's it. And Orianna really is mostly tied to Singed, which her story basically comes out of Zon, not even Piltover. So I would say you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters. And man, Vi comes from Zon too. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters that are truly Piltover. 5. I would put Vi and Orianna almost in Zon over Piltover. So just look where the writers are going. Look where the writers like to create these characters in these stories. Freaking Zon. Look how many champions there are. Blitzcrank, Dr. Mundo, Echo, Janna, Jinx, Renata Glask, Singed, Twitch, Urgot, Victor. And I wouldn't put Janna here. I'd say she's like a champion of Runeterra, but the people of Zon really worship her. Warwick, Zac, Ziggs, Zeri. I'd put Vi down here. I'd put, who else would I put? Oh, Orianna. I'd put Orianna down here. This just shows you where even the creators, like the story writers, feel that the most compelling story is. Like if they're creating a character, they want to create it for Zon. They want to create it in this world. Zon is just like the different levels of Zon. It goes Promenade level, the Entroso level, then the Sump level. Each level has its own story and its own people and its own world. There's a story in the book Realms of Runeterra for Zon. It's my favorite story in that book. It's really good. It talks about the Chem Barons and a kid gets his heart like attached to a bomb. It's crazy. I always pulled up this character when I'm reading it. If you want to read the story in Realms of Runeterra and pull up this image and imagine that the character in that story is this one, the Sump Snipe. It's a great story. Yeah, Zon with the Zon Grey. So good. I'm from a city called Canberra, the capital of Australia. I've always wanted to go to Australia. Always surprises me when someone says Chem-Baron, which is what you would call someone who lives in Canberra. Man, there's so many. They're all Chem-Barons there. That's crazy. That's actually funny. You're a Chem-Baron in real life. I read that story recently. Isn't it great? Yeah, it's a good one. So yeah, Zon, I'd put it at number 7. Number 6, Ionia, believe it or not. Ionia makes it to number 6, the Shattered Harmony. Ionia's lore is a beautiful and tragic tale of land forced to abandon its peaceful traditions in the face of brutal invasion. The aftermath of the Noxian War has left the First Lands deeply scarred, creating a powerful ideological schism that defines its modern narrative. On one side, the traditionalists like the Kinku, who seek a return to balance and harmony. On the other, a more militant faction led by Zed's Order of Shadow and the Navori Brotherhood, who believe Ionia's survival depends on weaponizing its magic. This internal conflict is made all the more compelling by the land's deep connection to the spirit realm. The turmoil of the people literally poisons the land and its spirit. This creates a unique and fascinating dynamic where political conflict has direct supernatural consequences, making Ionia one of the most thematically rich regions in Runeterra. And you can see some of the Noxian Ionian War right here. I don't know if I could play the music. I don't know. I don't think I can. But yeah, you can see some of the cinematic here. This is the Ionians finally rising up to stand against the Noxians and their invasion. And there they are. Noxus. The struggle of Ionia's soul is embodied in its champions, from the vengeful Aurelia and the conflicted Zed to the wandering swordsman Yasuo. The land itself is a character, its magic both a source of beauty and a potential weapon, making the stakes of Ionia internal war feel immense and deeply personal. Ionia has some great great lore, great characters. We're getting up to like, I don't know if anything's bad at this point. Like Ionia's story is very good. There's a ton of champions there because the story is so good around Ionia. Jin's story is great. Kane's story. The story of Zaya and Rakan and their fight for the Vastaya to bring back the magic, to hopefully be able to, freaking have children again because their whole species is dying out. The Wuzhu Order with Master Yi and Wukong. Aurelia with the Dreaming Tree, all the spirit trees in Ionia. It's connecting to the spirit realms. The demons are there, the Azakana. So there's a ton of demons in Ionia because the realm between the material realm and spirit realm is so thin. The story of Yasuo and Yone, the brothers. The story of Zed and Shen, the friends. There's just so much to love about Ionia. It's really tough to put it. It was tough to put it at number 6. It really was, but there's so many stories that are above it. There's a lot of Darken in Ionia, right? Varys, Rost, who's referred to with Kane, Zolani is there. I really can't say too much bad about Ionia. It's at number 6 just because other zones are better. That's one of my I'm still going through the lore book, though it is. I kind of thought he was going to die. Me too. That's one of my favorite cinematics. That one, yeah, it's amazing. Awaken. Also another underrated cinematic. Definitely do not play that music. Yeah, I think it's copyright. Jin's story is also really good. Jin's story is amazing. You guys ever seen this? Hold on. Let me go to my my channel here. Hold on. Let me see. Where's my cards of the day? So Legends of Runeterra, Jin's cards of the day. It starts with this one. So these all have to do with Jin. I think you guys will really like these. So I was doing these for a while. They didn't do great, but I really liked making them, so I just kept doing it.
My gifts cannot be refused.
So this is the Maker. She's a card in Legends of Runeterra.
For they are not given.
An extraordinary creator, the Maker, a legendary artisan, her art perilous, her execution flawless. It is a great honor to be in her presence, let alone wield an instrument of her making. What is this one's role in this strange and gruesome show? More than audience, she is observer, the lens through which all things pass and must be held up against truth and beauty.
The artist, the stage, the actor, the grave.
Art requires a certain cruelty.
And the artist must not hesitate in its execution.
Overture. We open on the city of Quyanvi, where an old master summons a young pupil. He is tasked with disposing a group of nefarious villains and recovering stolen sacred artifacts. The actor is keen, but he does not as yet take his place. For now he simply prepares, waiting in the wings.
My work deserves recognition, Jin. Do not disappoint me. My gifts.
That's like the first card, and all these cards go through. These cards go through the story of Jin killing them. Each one, Jin kills each one, and his final show is the stagehand. All these cards go together. It's really cool. Jin is a story also really good. I mean, we can continue them. The next one this is the first one that he kills.
The spoil of war.
The Trifarian Legion is trailed by opportunistic brigands who prey on the weak and injured in its wake. The Legion Marauder was no different.
What do we got here?
Act 1. An ex-soldier, having abandoned his post following the theft of an ancient Kashuri artifact, hides at a Quyanvi bar full of arrogance and too much to drink.
Buy me a brew. Owl's seen it all. You don't dare tell the others I'm here.
Then keep your mouth shut and act the dutiful soldier. A fine price for such an accomplished legionnaire.
Yours too, you big oaf.
Little does he know, his stolen treasure whispers of all it sees to its true owner.
What? Oh!
His life pours away like so much wine, Noxian crimson on Ionian gold.
The bird!
Yeah, so that's like the first one that he kills. And then he goes on to kill the other ones, Lord Broadmane, the captive Greyback, and then the stagehand is like his final crescendo. And We all know how much he likes numbers 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So, or is it 7? I think it's 4. I think it's 4. Yeah, I don't know. I know he's obsessed with the number. I thought it was 4. Xin number obsession. Xin is obsessed with the 4 stems of its number 4. Yeah, I was right. Okay, yeah, 4. And that's how many it kills. So, same, to be honest. That's really cool. I'll watch some of those. Yeah, they're great. I put a lot of work into them. Do we ever have gameplay here? After I finish news and lore, I play League of Legends. I never noticed Jin is in the background. Yeah, he is. In the background of this?
Noxians are not.
There he is right here. That's what you're talking about, right? He's in that bottom corner. Yeah. He appears in all their arts. He kills them all. They all end up dead. Thanks to Jin. Okay. Next up. The struggle of Ionia's soul is embodied as champions. Yeah. So next up, number 5. Whoa, did I miss a number? No, I didn't. Okay, number 5. The Shadow Isles. The Land of the Damned. The Shadow Isles is the nexus of one of Runeterra's most significant and far-fetched. Let me fix this. The Shadow Isles is the nexus of one of Runeterra's most significant and far-fetched stories, the Ruination. The tale of the Rune King, Viego, and his desperate attempt to resurrect his queen is a tragedy of epic proportions, a single act of love and grief that unleashed a cataclysm of undeath upon the world. The resulting black mist and the annual harrowing are a constant active threat to all Runeterra, not just a localized problem. The Isles are populated by some of the most compelling and tragic figures in the lore, from the vengeful spear Callista to the tortured collector of souls, Thresh. The lore of the Shadow Isles is not just a spooky ghost, it's a deep, dark narrative about love, loss, betrayal, and the eternal consequences of a single selfish act. This video talks about the harrowing a little bit. Every spirit has a story, a remnant of the life they lost in the Ruination, making the entire region a living museum of tragedy. The ongoing struggle of champions like Lucian and Senna against the mist gives the narrative a powerful personal anchor, ensuring the Shadow Isles remains a central and evolving part of Runeterra's history. The thing about the Shadow Isles is its story goes so back, like even to its time of the Blessed Isles, I think is really makes the Shadow Isles such a compelling story. Its history, like these characters, Thresh, he's literally from the Blessed Isles. He was a thresher. That's why he's called Thresh, which is like honestly not a good thing. They didn't like the Thresher. Threshers were basically just kind of put down there to disappear. They were like monitor the library deep in the catacombs. But there's so many great characters. Elise with the that card, I always forget that, the massive spider that she serves, the spider god. Maokai being like having the last drops of the blessed waters within his heartwood. Yorick is a great story. This is like showing a little bit more of the Blessed Isles before they became the Shadow Isles. Some of the specters that you'll find there. These are the Blessed Isles right here. This is how it used to look. Yeah, so good. If you ever played the Rune King, you see the cinematic. Is the Rune King the owner of the Bork? What's the Bork? I actually don't know what that is. Jin is one of the most played champions in Path of Champions. I believe it. He's really good. There's not a lot of well, Yasuo was pretty strong too from Ionia. Like you need in Path of Champions, you really want a champion from every region. A really good one from every region, so you can like clear the levels, clear the maps. And so for Ionia, I would say Jin and Yasuo are both really good for Ionia, but Yasuo just takes a long time to play because his play style is very like preventative. Like it takes time each game, versus Jin is much faster, so I could see people playing him more. Also a depressing Yordle. Yeah, I skipped that one. I don't know what a Bork is. Many characters got left out, sadly, in the Ruination event. Like which ones? Bork stands for Blade of the Rune King. Oh, you're talking about the Soul Render. Is the Rune King the owner of Bork? Yeah. Well, the Blade of the Rune King, Soul Render, comes from Camavor. It's the blade of the kings, and it's actually from the spirit realm. This sword is from the spirit realm, and every king in Camavor must take up that sword. And in some cases, it will consume the owner's soul. Like literally, a prince, he's going to be king of Camavor, must take up the blade soul render. It gets called forth from the spirit realm by a bunch of priests, and then they must pick up the sword. And literally, sometimes the future king just gets his soul taken up by soul render. His soul literally taken from him, and he dies. It's freaking crazy. Viego survived it, obviously, and goes on to be the king of Camavor. But that's why he still has his sword, is because it's tied to him from the spirit realm. And getting cut by the soul render literally rends your soul. It's the blade of the kings. Yeah, my favorite so far is Morgana. She has a lot of crowd control with her cuirasses. Yeah, I actually play Morgana. I think she's one of my higher ranked ones for... She's like usually my Demacian champion. Like Yorick and Maokai. Yeah, Yorick and Maokai are so great. Well, I didn't know that. Oh, woohoo. I love it. I love it when I touch on like... we go to like some random lore and it just so happens that someone didn't know about it. And this is a picture, by the way. There's Vladimir, a prince of ancient Camavor. He was taken as a hostage in the Great Darken War. He learned the forbidden art of hemomancy and gained unnatural extent to life. According to legend, Vladimir once tried to contact his distant nephew Viego, but the letter went unanswered. So, just proof again that Viego and Vladimir are related. Yeah, I've always been more interested in the weapon lore. Yeah, his weapon, I mean, that's one of the coolest weapons in all of Runeterra. So that and the Jax's lantern, both very interesting. Soul Render reminds me of Negakaburos testing people. Honestly, yeah, very similar. The sword does test the prince, and then some die and some survive. So similar to how Ilaoi tests people with Negakaburos and some just die. So very similar. Honestly, I never really made that connection, but you are right. So that's it. Number 5, the Shadow Isles. Number 4, Bandle City and Realm's End, the musical unknown. Bandle City itself, I wanted to tie in Realm's End because it's tied to Bandle City so much that I think it goes together. Bandle City's lore is fascinating precisely because it defies mortal understanding. I want to play let me play the Bandle City music, I think. Yeah, let's do it. Ooh. I like Bandle City music. Very chill. Bandle City's lore is fascinating precisely because it defies mortal understanding. As a pocket of the spirit realm, it doesn't play by the rules of time, space, or logic. The inherent weirdness allows for boundless creativity, but the introduction of Realm's End in Legends of Runeterra gave this whimsical chaos a narrative anchor. Realm's End is a mysterious nexus of portals where lost travelers, both Yordle and otherwise, find themselves. It is here we meet characters like the enigmatic Nora, Yumi's lost master, who is exploring these dangerous pocket dimensions. Her journey and Yumi's quest to find her provides a compelling storyline that grounds the abstract nature of Bandle City. It transforms the region from a simple, strange place into a launching point for dimension-hopping adventures filled with mystery, quirky characters, and the ever-present danger of getting hopelessly lost between worlds. This is Nora. That's Yumi's master. We'll go to Yumi first. Yumi did have to... what is that? Oh, we're here. Yumi did have to admit that for all her fussing, she did like the book quite a lot. She liked its smell. She liked the illustration. She even liked jumping through its portals. But nothing was as good as just having Nora back home safe and sound. This is Yumi jumping through the book, and she's using the book to try to find her master, Nora. That's the whole point of like Yumi's story. She's literally Nora's cat, and she uses the book to jump between portals. And it turns out Nora is in this place. You can see Yumi finds her right there. She's in the Realm's End. Nora worked quickly, thoughts of home in mind. Portal work was notoriously tricky business. But Nora loved a good puzzle, especially the type that found her hopelessly lost in the pocket dimensions between space and time. This guy's a character there. He's Realm's caretaker. Gasper was the first Yordle to arrive in Realm's End. For many years he wandered alone amidst the twisting paths and portals that all seemed to lead nowhere. He now helps other lost travelers find their way home. And then there's Living Library. Considering it his duty to possess immense knowledge, he collects tomes from various travelers who have passed through Realm's End. Unfortunately, all of this knowledge appears to have gone to his head. And there are other characters, those are just a couple of the ones that I wanted to point out. But yeah, Realm's End is one of the coolest places in Runeterra. It's a place that I absolutely would like to explore, and I think that its tie with Bandle City makes Bandle City an easy number 4 spot. Oh yeah, Bandle City is interesting, very. Necrit has a great video on potential legendary weapons to be included in the MMO. Yeah, I don't think we'll ever have like, I don't think we'll ever get Soul Render as a weapon. That would be insane. That's like people wielding Frostmourne in World of Warcraft. But I'm sure there's like a lot of great weapons out there that could make good ones. Man, that's an interesting video. Maybe we'll react to that. I really don't like doing too many react videos. But that would be a cool one to watch. Or I could do my own. It's tough. Like, I don't think you're going to wield any of the weapons that are currently owned by champions, you know? It'd have to be... I think my list would be too boring. Because I wouldn't pick the Viego's weapon as like a weapon that you could wield in the MMO. You know? You never be able to get Thresh's Lantern. Or Yorick's Shovel. Or like Ash's Bow. I feel like those are their weapons, you know? I wouldn't even want to read those. I wouldn't even want to wield those, I mean. She liked the smell. Oh yeah, Bandle City is interesting. She liked the smell. Yeah. I was talking about like Yumi. She's always looking for fish. Always looking for fish, Yumi. Yeah, but great. Realm's End is amazing. Bandle City, easy number 4 spot. Number 3. Shurima. Shurima, the War of Gods and Mortals. Shurima's lore is pure, uncut, epic fantasy. It is a story of a fallen empire, betrayal, and the resurrection of god kings. The central conflict between the returned emperor Azir and the ascended traitor Zireth is a struggle of a mythological scale. With mortals caught in the crossfire, add this to the tragic brotherhood of Nasus and Renekton, the lingering threat of the Darken, and the ever-present wound of the void left by Acacia's fall, and you have a region brimming with high-stakes narrative. Shurima's lore is a masterclass in world building, connecting ancient history to present-day conflicts in a way that feels both grand and deeply personal. It is a classic tale of gods, monsters, and it is told exceptionally well. This is the story of the Tomb of the Emperors. I'd recommend you guys watch them, but they're pretty long, so I'm not going to play the whole thing here. But the sheer scale of the conflict involving beings who can raise entire cities from the sand or wield pure arcane energy makes Shurima a battleground for the very fate of the continent. The personal betrayals, the ancient grudges that fuel this war give it an emotional weight that elevates it beyond simple power struggles. Shurima, one thing that I have to say about Shurima is that it ties into Acacia. Acacia's story is enigmatically linked with Shurima, and Shurima is tied enigmatically to Acacia. The thing is that like Acacia's whole story is about like it rebelling against Shurima because Shurima controlled them. So Acacia, when it fell, was a part of the Shuriman Empire, and Shurima initially controlled this whole region, like including Ishtal. You saw like the map with Chemivore and them trading with Shurima. It was just labeled Shurima. They didn't call this place Ishtal. Ishtal literally like worked with Shurima to build the Sun Disk. So they were allies, but I think Shurima just controlled this whole region. With the Sun Disk and then with Belveth and the Lavender Sea, with the different regions being what's his name again? Why am I forgetting his name? I think I have to go to Void to see him though. Let me see. Malzahar. With Malzahar like building up the Lavender Sea to raise up Belveth, sacrificing people with the Psychothleek and the Xerxai there with Rek'Sai, all of that stuff. With the Tomb of the Emperors. Yeah, there's a lot of story in Shurima. A lot of untapped potential. I think Shurima absolutely deserves a spot in the top 3. Yeah, no question. Shurima is probably my favorite region. Yeah, it deserves a spot in the top 3 for sure. What are we ranking? We're ranking... what are with the rankings? The rankings are the zones based on their lore. We ranked every single zone based on its lore, and I have a summary list at the end. I would really like to see your reactions to Netcrit's MMO video series. It's like 5 vids, I think. Yeah, I've never watched them. The thing is, I actually really stay away from Netcrit's videos intentionally, because I feel like even other content creators around like Runeterra lore, because I don't want them to affect my own like theories. I've never seen anyone talk about Pike and his enslavement to the sea monsters, you know? But I feel like if I watch someone else's videos, it'll like kind of skew my own. You know, once you know something, you stop thinking it differently. Like once it's like hard to forget it. Like if someone tells me about Pike and their theories, it might affect my theories before I even get to them. Right? Like if I saw someone else's rankings of the zones based on their lore, it would affect my opinion going into making the list. So I actually actively don't watch anyone else's videos. Like when a video comes out, like a new cinematic for League of Legends, I actively avoid watching everyone's opinions on it, so I can craft my own. And then after I make my video, maybe I'll like, if it comes up, maybe I'll watch it. But I actively avoid watching everyone else's. But I mean, that might be cool, because MMO, those are more speculative. So maybe I'll watch his. We at number 3, yeah. Shroom is probably my favorite region, I agree. Weapons that share traits with one's champion's own would be most likely maybe a true ice sword or a hextech staff and such. Yeah, definitely stuff like that. I mean, I do think that, I don't know about a true ice sword, because that's pretty rare to be, because then if you're wielding a true ice sword, then you have to be an iceborn. What I think will happen with the true ice is that we'll find a way to craft true ice. Like there'll be a true ice, the Freljord expansion will have like a true ice crafting system, or like something like that with a profession around true ice. Like blacksmiths are able to piece some true ice into your weapon to upgrade it, but like not wield outright a full true ice staff or bow, because it'll kill you. I watched your video about the Void and the Lavender Sea today. Yo, good. I freaking love the Lavender Sea. I hope you watched the one that, there's one here that I put a lot of work into. I know there's the most recent one that's tied to the article, but you should watch this one, Runeterra's Doom, Belveth and Lavender Sea. That one took a ton of work, and it's a lot of editing in there and stuff. Bruh, Shurima, the God Warriors in the morphed into the Darkened. Yeah, Shurima deserves a top 3 spot. Right, that makes sense. Yeah. And the effing Darken that are world enders just below the Watchers. Yeah, the Shurima has the trifecta of dealing with the Darken, dealing with the Void in Shurima, and Acathia, dealing with its own stories in and of itself with the Tomb of the Emperors, like a ton of history there. It's tough. Yeah, I watched that one. It was good. Yo, thanks, Moses. I'm working on another one. It's just taking longer now. Another like really good, high quality, highly edited video. But it's taking longer because I'm doing other stuff too. So those might be, they used to be like once a month. Now it might be once every couple of months that I can release one. That's like the quality ones. 3 of Neket's videos are based purely on canon lore. Nothing of his opinions, no speculation. That's what I want to do. I want to do videos like that. I have an article right now for Xin Zhao, and it's just me literally reading the canon lore with additional sources and the images that included to like help you guys follow the story. So I wanted to try that with you guys. But yeah, if you guys have a video that you want me to watch, like of Netcrits, that's not like a theory video, right? Because I don't want it to affect my own theories. Send it to me in Discord, and I'll maybe we'll do like a react. I also wanted to do a section of the stream where I talk with you guys, like actually talk with you guys. Like if someone has a topic that they want to cover, for example, someone thinks Demacia is right, that they think Demacia being mages is the correct route, we'll have like a section of the stream where literally, if you want, you can get on Discord with me and we could talk through like your lore theory or your speculation or the topic that you want to cover, as long as it's related to Runeterra. Kind of like a talk show, right? Like, but I'm hosting like people from the stream, and so just get on and we'll talk about it, almost like a podcast kind of thing. So if anyone's interested in that, let me know on Discord too. I think that could be really fun. Can one become the Iceborn post-birth? No. You are born Iceborn. You are born with the gift. Looking forward to it. Yeah, it'll go under like the general Runeterra lore section of my channel. That's where all like those high quality videos go. Shurima, number 3. Number 2, Targon, the Cosmic Ladder. Targon is where the mortal meets the divine, and its lore is a breathtaking exploration of faith, ambition, and terrifying scale of the cosmos. The central premise? A mountain that serves as a trial for mortals to become hosts for celestial aspects, is one of the most unique and compelling concepts in Runeterra. This creates fascinating characters' origins for champions like Leona, Diana, Pantheon, Taric. The conflict between the sun-worshipping Solari and the moon-worshipping Lunari is a rich and tragic religious war that provides a grounded mortal struggle against the backdrop of cosmic entities and otherworldly threats like Aurelian Sol. Targon's lore successfully blends high-concept sci-fi with grounded, character-driven religious conflict, creating a narrative that feels both immensely powerful and deeply human. The reason I like Targon so much is because it somehow makes this cosmic stuff like Aurelian Sol and the aspect of war and the Golden and Silver Sister be relatable to like grounded character stories like Leona and Diana and the Solari and the Lunari, and they're all like this mountain, and it even pulls in characters like Taric from Demacia during the Crown of Stones. I really recommend you watch this trailer. I feel like the Call of the Mountain is Demacia. It does a great job showing what Demacia is. In terms of like, I'm not Demacia, sorry. It really does a good job of showing what Targon is. And you see a lot of the places and the characters of Targon, including the dragons. Like the dragons in Targon are not just dragons, right? They're like these cosmic dragons. So, like Inviolus Vox is, I have a great card actually. Let me see this. If we go to Legends of Runeterra cards of the day, I know I did one on Inviolus Vox, and he is one of my favorite cards. Where is he? Yeah, this one's on Inviolus Vox.
This world is finished.
Look to the heavens and see as I do. First the signals, for by night they shine. Then the fury, for by day all burns. You will see, we will all see, said the Herald of Dragons.
Rouse your kind, dragon! Shroud the world in wings!
It is already done.
Inviolus Vox, the unshakable voice, is a single celestial mind who speaks simultaneously through countless beings spread across the cosmos. His legendary voice echoes through time and space, summoning his kin to him. Inviolus Vox has descended upon Runeterra and waits for Aurelian Sol's command to summon all dragonkind to this lowly place.
The age of dragons is begun.
There are more like you? Oh dear.
Enough stars. Now we forge destiny.
A destiny born in starfire.
This is their end.
That's literally the end of Runeterra, by the way. That card shows a freaking Runeterra exploding. So that's just like another sides. That's just a side story in Targon. So Targon just absolutely deserves that number 2 spot. Can one become Iceborn post-birth? Just say when. That's a cool idea. That'd be awesome. What did I miss? Something was awesome. I missed it. I'm not sure. Maybe it's something I was talking about. I got distracted by the Inviolus Vox, my own video. The problem with that is that we agree on like 99% of things, and the 1% is unknown. Technically, Aurelian Sol is the most OP being in the existence of Runeterra. He is, absolutely. Aurelian Sol is the most powerful being in not just Runeterra, the universe, the cosmos. Aurelian Sol is peak, tip-top, no one's above him. He's the only real threat that we'd have to the Watchers if they actually invaded our realm. If they actually invaded reality. Do you have a still here cinematic reaction video? I think I do. I'd be surprised if I don't. Your channel. Let me see. Still here? Pretty sure I do. But I can't even find it on my own channel. Videos. Where's my playlist? I think it was like reaction or lore deep dive, something like that. Forge Saga. I have to view like my channel without being signed in. Let me see. Wow, that's bright. Playlist. What's next? Ruined King, live stream, champions, motion comics, Project K playthrough, general. Zed. Champions of the Shadow Isles. It was after that I think I made that. Cinematic deep dives. Okay, lore deep. Oh, bite marks. Did I not do Still Here? Maybe I didn't. I guess I didn't. I think oh, Still Here came out when I was working on my Demacia video. And I talk a lot about it in there. And I pulled in like so many shots of Still Here. But yeah, I don't think I did a cinematic deep dive, which I'm surprised of. But yeah, I didn't. I think I was too caught up in my like what makes Demacia Magus video. The talk show. Oh, the talk show. Yeah, let's do it. Guys, if you want to do that, I think it'd be awesome to talk with you guys actually about the lore. And just if you think of a topic, I'm going to make a section in Discord and just post it there and be like, hey, you know, I'd like to talk to you about this, and this is the day when I can do it. And I'll literally schedule a slot in the stream where we'll just like, you know, like come and talk through it. Still Here is peak. The cinematic is so good. Still Here is peak. Okay, we could do it. I mean, I don't have enough. Let me try to finish this article, and then maybe we'll do a Still Here deep dive. There's a ton of lore in Still Here that ties into literally so many characters all together, especially Kael and Morgana and Aatrox and Tryndamere. So yeah, I'm down. And a lot of people were saying, I've heard people say like that they liked the end for Yasuo. I disagree. That I'm so happy that that end was not actually like a canon end, just like a future timeline where Yasuo kind of gives up. But yeah, we can do that. I'm down. Number 1. Oh, I did this. Number 1, the Freljord. And I think a lot of you guys already agree with me. I've talked to a lot of you guys about it. The Freljord, the heart of conflict, number 1. At the top of our list is the Freljord, a region whose lore perfectly encapsulates every type of conflict that makes Runeterra compelling. It has a brutal, ever-present environmental threat that shapes its culture of survival. It has deeply personal and ideological rich three-way civil war between the tribes of Ash, unity through peace, Sejuani, unity through conquest, and Lissandra, unity through secrets. This political conflict is elevated by the presence of ancient primal demigods, the very spirits of the land, such as the Forge god Ornn, the savage storm Volibear, and the wise Anivia. These beings aren't just myths, they are active players in the regions of struggles. And beneath it all lies the ultimate existential threat, the Watchers, the horrific void entities imprisoned in true ice, whose potential escape threatens all of existence. The story of Nunu and Willump, a boy and his Yeti on a quest to find a mythical hero, provides a thread of hope and heart amidst the brutal landscape. This journey is not just a whimsical adventure, it is a deeply tied to the fate of the Freljord, as their quest for the heart of the blue is intertwined with the magic needed to stand against the encroaching darkness of the Watchers. The Freljord's lore seamlessly blends environmental, political, and mythological and existential threats into a single cohesive and incredibly rich narrative, making it one of the most compelling and well-developed regions in Runeterra. I think that a lot of you guys already agree with me that the Freljord absolutely has the best lore in Runeterra. And it's not really like a question. I think there's where's the Freljord board soundtrack? Let's play that a little bit. Board soundtrack. There it is. Yes, the Freljord. The Freljord. The Freljord made these demigods who normally would feel like way too big and way too godly for us to even approach, and made them feel grounded, yet still extremely powerful. I think that was a really difficult thing to do, to make Volibear, Ornn, and Anivia feel like these powerful cosmic beings while still being interactable with the regular player base. And somehow they did it. Ornn still feels extremely powerful, and yet you can just walk into his forge in Song of Nunu. Volibear feels extremely powerful, but he still has like a character to him, and not just like this, I am a god. The trolls with Trundle and them leading and following Lissandra, and literally Trundle kind of has his own story about him being a selfish troll and like kind of sacrificing his own people really for power. Nunu and Willump, I think Nunu, I want to see him get older and age and realize the weight of what he has upon him, of him trying to like take care of all of these people and the loss of his family, and yet he has this power from Willump and this power of true ice, and he somehow has to face the Watchers, but he's way too young to understand it now, and I want him to get older and almost like kind of go through it, you know, but in a good way. Like I want to see Nunu mature, like to the point where he becomes like Nunu the warrior, you know. So I would love to see that. I think the story of the Iceborn with Ash and Braum and Sejuani is great. The story of Lysandra is amazing. The Watcher's story is one of the biggest threats that we have in all of Runeterra, and I love that it feels imposing and dark and brooding and mysterious, and the Watchers themselves feel patient and truly dark and like evil and ominous. And there's nothing better than the Freljord. There really isn't. It's not my favorite aesthetic region, right? I don't really like the cold, but what am I going to do? But it's in terms of lore, nothing's better than the Freljord. Conspiracy theory time. I do love a good conspiracy theory. I believe we are all so enamored with the Freljord because of the God of War and the God of War Ragnarok games, plus Viking themes. That's God of War is great. So we can't knock that. That God of War is great. And you know, a lot of times, like I always say this, like World of Warcraft should attribute a lot of its success to Lord of the Rings, and it's definitely possible that the Freljord has just themes that we really like the Vikings and the Ragnaros, and like God of War is a very popular game right now, so it definitely could be that, and I think it would be that for a lot of people. But me putting it at number one, it's not my favorite aesthetic theme. That's the thing. Like I don't really care for the Viking stuff, but I love the Spirit Walker shamans. The actual lore is just so freaking good. It's so good. You talked about the music they make for the IP. They had a Scandinavian folk singer called Einar do the Volibear theme. Absolutely peak. The Volibear theme is so good. Volibear theme. Yeah, right here. This is what he's talking about, guys. It's wow. Wow. Listen to this. I can't think of Nunu without hearing Keisha screaming sadly. Oh, jeez. Wow. Yeah. Jeez, that's harsh. Nunu's story is sad. I used to think Ornn is as small like a Yordle. Yeah, he's freaking massive. He does give the look of a Yordle almost. Yes. Volibear. It's so good. It's such a great theme. Right here. Man, that's Volibear. So great. Man. Yeah, it's probably one of the best themes that they ever made for any champion. You feel like Volibear is going to launch out of his screen and just grab you and just slam you against the wall and say, do better. I love the story of Volibear and Ornn too. Their relationship, the police bear skin. I love the relationship between Ornn, Volibear, and Anivia, especially Ornn and Volibear. Their conflict between how to handle the three sisters is so good. If you guys don't know that story, I recommend my How Lysandra Doomed Runeterra video. It goes through the lore of Ornn and Volibear and their interactions with Lysandra a long time ago. And why Volibear doesn't wear his armor anymore. Yeah, it's so good. I mean... Wow. Wow. Yeah, one of the best themes ever made in the history of League of Legends music. Absolutely. Wow, 5 million views. Well deserved. That's how good it is. I can't think of Nunu without, the police pairs. Literally chills every time I hear this. I agree. It's absolutely one of the best themes they ever made. The summary. Final ranking summary. Piltover. I never give anything a D. I don't think any lore in Runeterra is bad. There's just better lore and lore that's not as good as the better lore. And number 12 was Piltover. It's progress, innovation, class disparity as a setup for Zon. It's almost like a prelude story. 11 is Camivore and the Independent Lands. It's a tragic fall with consequences of obsession and lingering ghosts. And number 10 is Ishtal, isolationism, tradition versus outsiders, environmental magic. It's a good story, but it's really frozen right now. It needs to continue. Demacia at number 9, order versus freedom, hypocrisy, civil war, and fear of magic. We gave it a B. Its overall story is good, the Mage Seekers, but it's the smaller stories that stand out in Demacia. Noxus is ambition, strength, meritocracy, and political intrigue. Gets a B+ because Noxus just ties into everywhere. It has stories all over Runeterra, and it's honestly, its lore is good. Like the ties with Ionia, ties with Shurima, and the overall lore of Noxus itself with the Triforce I think is really good. Zon at number 7, which just shows you like how unchecked progression of Piltover affects its people. And Zon should be people of Piltover. It shouldn't be their own nation. But they are, and that's because of Piltover and what they've done. Ionia is number 6. I think Ionia's story is great, and especially if you start getting into like the deeper stories of the Azakana with Yasuo and Yone and the Vastaya and their history, Ionia deserves like a top spot, like number 6. The Shadow Isles with the Ruination, Viego, I mean that's tough to beat with Thresh and whatnot, and the Blessed Isles, its past and its history, the Undeath, the Grief. There's so many powerful characters, and even the side stories with Elise and the Spider God that lives there on the Shadow Isles with Maokai having the last drops of the Blessed Waters in his hardcore. I think the Shadow Isles, number 5 for sure. Bandle City, because Bandle City ties with the Bandle Woods as well as the Bandle Tree and the Realm's End and so many other stories that branch out from Bandle City. It being like our closest connection to the Spirit Realm, I think it'll be where we launch into the Spirit Realm eventually in the Riot MMO. Bandle City is great. It's a pocket in the Spirit Realm that we would want to explore. So number 4. Shurima, Fallen Empire, Betrayal, Divinity, War Gods, The Void, Belveth, Malzahar, sinking in the Zursai and the Psychalik under Rek'Sai. Shurima absolutely deserves a number 3 spot. Targon, this peak of mountain that somehow brings the cosmic level horrors of space and cosmic beings like Aurelion Sol with the Golden and Silver Sister, the God of War, down and grounds it in these basic characters like Leona and Diana and the Solari and Lunari. That's really hard to do, while still making those characters feel cosmic, and they did it with Targon, and that's why Targon gets a number 2 spot. And number 1, the best story in all of Runeterra, the best lore, can't be touched, Freljord. You got the Civil War with Avarosa, Seroda, and Lysandra. You got the mythology of Ornn and Volibear and their brothers and their fighting and their conflicts, as well as Anivia and her sacrifice for the Yetis. You got Nunu and Willump, this little boy stuck in this like cold, harsh environment, and yet somehow with the kindness of the Yetis and with the kindness of really Willump and coming out of it, and him having this dark, foreboding future of the conflict with the Void, like Lysandra calls him the Messiah, to protect the world and stop the Watchers. And to see him in the future deal with that, I think is going to be great in the Riot MMO. The Freljord has the true ice. It's one of the oldest places. You have the Earth Sign who serve under Volibear, as well as the shamans like Ornn. So Udyr, the Spirit Walker shamans. Yeah, Freljord number 1. That's the list, guys. And I think that my list is 100% accurate. And anyone that disagrees or moves anything around is absolutely wrong. Literal chills. Yeah, that's some fat beasties. Yep. Volibear has the best theme in Runeterra. Nah, bruh. The moment where my jaw fell for the Freljord is from the call cinematic of FN117 till the 128. That is the best thing I've ever seen. Oh, you're talking about with the Earth Sign? Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. It's the Earth Sign where he launches up the stone or whatever, and like, is this music copyright? I don't know. But yeah, Sejuani. They're like, this is the, I think it is copyright, but there's Sejuani. She's approaching this cliff, this mountain pass. That's the Winter's Claw. And then right over here, you can see in the background, someone appears right there behind her. And those are the Ursine. They serve Volibear. And they are literally shamans, and they shapeshift into the image of Volibear. Right here. Wizards Vuitton 117. The mountain starts with a fall. Lightning strikes it. Man. Smacks that axe out of the way. There's Volibear. Yeah. It's such a good cinematic. Yeah. Wow. Sejuani looks awesome in this cinematic. The lightning strikes coming down. But Sejuani is iceborn, and she wields true ice. And so getting hit by that will literally freeze you. Yep. Yeah. I mean, that doesn't get you hyped for the Freljord. I don't know what will. That's just, it's such a good cinematic. She looks amazing in it. I still get goosebumps from it, like right now. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. All right. Tomorrow. I think this is the schedule for tomorrow. Let me pull up Discord here. Tomorrow, we're going to go through... All right. Tomorrow, we're going to go through... We're going to do... I want to do a viewer chat section. So if you have any ideas, I'll make like a section for it somewhere in here with like panels you can add what you want to talk about and people can discuss it. And we'll, whoever's, you know, if there's someone that wants to chat about something, as long as it's Runeterra related, we can do like a little section. We'll join in a Discord call and we'll talk through the lore that you want to talk about, kind of thing. We're going to do a Still Here deep dive. And I almost forgot, we didn't actually get to, where is it? We didn't get to this. So I still want to do this. We're going to do the Xin Zhao Essential of Demacia biography. It's like it's basically his biography, but I added like some images and stuff to help you follow the story. So something like that. And I wanted to see like how it goes. So we'll do this as well. But I'll do like the Still Here deep dive, I think. We'll do that. We'll do Xin Zhao Essential of Demacia biography first. Then Still Here deep dive, and then the viewer chat kind of thing will be at the end, Runeterra related. And you just jump in a Discord and let's talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, Runeterra related. So schedule for tomorrow, 10:16. We need something there. Boop. There you guys go. I'll make a section over here. I don't know. I think it'll be like one of those ones where you can have like dialogues under it. So someone will post the topic they want to talk about, and I'll schedule some time out and I'll message you. And if we have that, we'll like block that off. And so you're ready during that time, we'll jump in the call. Just imagine something like that in the actual game. Oh, there will be. We're gonna have to deal with the Ursine. There's gonna be like an Ursine raid by itself. Absolutely. Tomorrow is always hope, never a promise. Absolutely. I hope that I'll see you guys tomorrow. That phrase changed my view of life. IRL. Hey, you gotta. It's the real. It's real. Also embrace life, expect death. Yeah, there's so many lines like that. But you know, we just gotta. I think there's also like there's another one that I always liked. That's around that premise. But I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. I gotta get to a meeting for work. But it's awesome, as always. Like, I don't even know what to say. These have been the best part of my days, every day for sure. It's awesome talking with you guys about Runeterra. We haven't gotten to gameplay just because there's so much news and lore that I want to cover, but hopefully we'll get to gameplay eventually. I do want to try those MMOs that we talked about. Thanks so much for stopping by the Grove, everyone, and I will see you in the next one. Peace all.